Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Guild 20th community call. Holy smokes. I'm astonished every time we have a new number. 20 sounds like very little, but it's been a long time. So very happy about that. I'm Reika, co-founder of Guild. Here we have on the stage the rest of the community team, Hannah and Norby. We're going to be your lovely hosts today and going to update you everything about and what we've been working on. What can you expect from the community, from the product, and going forward with everything else. So the community updates, we're going to actually start with the product ones, and then we're going to community. Yeah. So one more forward that I usually say is that we do record this. As we joked in the beginning, we recorded like 3 different locations to make sure that we actually have the recording ready. And then we upload it to our YouTube channel, the usual YouTube Guild XYZ. So you can listen back to all the community events, except the workshop ones that are very closed and not public. Everything else, including the community calls, are uploaded to our YouTube. So without further ado, let's kick off today's updates and everything with something that many of you have messaged us about. And thank you so much for reporting everything. You're our eyes and ears. And we always very appreciate the input and just every little bit of news and experience that you have. And that little something has been the Twitter integration. We have experienced the downtime this weekend with the Twitter authentication system. So a lot of members could not connect their Twitter, even after clicking it many times, refreshing and everything. So we've been having a little bit of a trouble with that, and also an overwhelming amount of support questions on every platform. I don't know if you guys seen, but since we closed out support from this server, even Twitter has become a support channel, even though we have the intercom set up and ready to go. So I'd like to point you again that the intercom is set up well to handle the support questions. We're reading the messages. It's perfect. So you can just use that on our website. It's on Guild XYZ on the bottom right corner. I'll give the word to Hannah to say a little bit update about what we're doing with this integration to make it better and have less hiccups. Forward one more sentence is the Twitter API. As you know, the fiasco that's happening at the Twitter headquarters in the past few months, the Twitter API was promised to be improved, I think 2 weeks ago, and they've been putting off that. So it's still the old, very limited one that we've been working with. Yeah, we're trying to find ways to solve it, and I'm giving it to Hannah to say a little bit more about it.
Yes, let me take it from here. So basically, as Reka said, also we experienced some downtime this weekend with the Twitter authentication. And I just want to emphasize it and, just highlight it. Like we are actually knowing about this bug, this issue, and we are investigating it in the back. And basically it's a bigger development, so I would like to ask everyone's time and patience, and apologies for everyone who face with this issue. Regarding to the authentication, I can share some details, like just in short, like what is happening actually in the back. So basically we are halfway ready with the fix, because there is 2 parts of the Twitter authentication fix. So one part is we had an issue with the timestamp, which is actually solved, and what's still needed is the token refresh, often times out. So we need to find a solution for that one. TLDR, basically it shows you to reconnect even if there should be no need to reconnect. And as a user, actually, you cannot make difference between like when is it, accurate and when it is not. But no worries, we are working on it. And on this, I just want to remind everyone that this issue is basically integrated into our intercom support chat. So if anyone experiences it, all we ask you is to just click on the button saying like, I have an issue with the Twitter, integration, because you don't need to worry about having, getting a message from our chatbot, because that message was actually written by us. So if you click on the Twitter button, your chat will actually get a Twitter tag. And it's a really great help for us to monitor, like which issue is happening, which one is, occurring the most in, an X period of time. So we use these automated responses because we just don't want to leave anyone behind without, a reason for, your issue. So if you click on any other button just to, get into human contact, unfortunately, one thing, it's going to give us false data to our metrics because we are checking it like weekly, the data, like which support tickets were, the most, coming to us and all these things. And on the other hand, unfortunately, we cannot solve the issue faster because we are the support team and the developers are working on it. So all we can do is just typing, sorry for the inconveniences, we're going to get back to you once it's fixed, or something like this. And the biggest help that you can, support us with is just clicking on the Twitter button. So TLDR, we're halfway ready. It's going to be, cool. We just want to, ask for your time and patience. So apologies again, and thank you so much. I will give the stage back to you, Reka.
Thank you so much for the clarity on support. I appreciate it a lot. I didn't even think of saying it this way. So I think it's very good to keep these in mind. So appreciate if you guys do that. It's very, very helpful for us. We've built the little system in the help box there to help the best way we can and the fastest. So let's all work together to continue that. The next update, though, moving on from Twitter and that little trouble that we still have there, is good news. We are moving to upgrade a lot of the user experience that you have and see on Guild.xyz. A lot of you know it so well. We haven't spent too much time last year upgrading it, especially the Explorer. We still don't focus on the Explorer page, but the Guild UI, when you go on a Guild's page, since luckily and fortunately many, many admins now know and use Guild much better and deeper, there's many roles in Guilds. And so the UI of Guild pages were a little bit chunky and there was a lot of roles just like being in your face, lots of information. So we made the little effort to put this toggle into it. So the roles have to be opened to see the details. Otherwise, they're just taking up way, way less space. So when you scroll on a Guild's page, you can see much more like information, roles, journeys, and less of overloading information. And that's super cool. And it's also a step towards a very largely requested thing is to be able to order the roles, to like you as the admin set what order the roles are sitting on the Guild's page. This was necessary for us to do that. So stay tuned for that one. But this is also really cool. If you have access, you'll see it as always. But like every little detail won't be shown to you unless you like open the role and see what's inside. Along the little tweaks and upgrades, we also, as you know, you can connect many addresses to your Guild account. You will still have a primary address. You can see that on the top right corner when you click your name on any page on Guild. And we've put a tiny little button or like word that says that's your primary address. Right now, you cannot change this address, but you can add many more, essentially an unlimited amount of extra addresses. This is the address that the Guild admins or anyone who you're in a Guild will get this address when they export the members and you're a member in that Guild. So that's the only thing to keep in mind with that. We'll also work out a situation where you can change this primary address down the line. But for now, just know that that's how it's working. So you will have one main address that like the leading account address, and then you'll have extra ones that you can use automatically no matter where your assets are or your reputation badges or, whatever you hold in your assets are. So that's a little upgrade. Moving forward into the POAP territory, we always do little upgrades to our POAP integration. Now, two little tweaks. One is bigger than the other. The first is that we reintroduced the POAP drop feature as it is, but now we can still upload more. We can update more links later. So when you have a continuous POAP going on, or you didn't get enough links, you didn't ask for enough links, maybe you only asked for 20 and 50 people turn out to your event and you want to still give POAPs to everyone who showed up, you can upload more links later, which you can request in the meantime. One more little update is we opened up the secret chamber here in our server, if you are listening on Discord, which is the usual little space where we share the visuals. So what I'm saying, so you can also see it and not just imagine it. So take a look at there if you're in Discord. Otherwise, imagine it if you're on Twitter, haha, or see it on the UI. You can upload more mint links when you click the little three dots in the corner of the POAP card, by the way. Okay, moving on. Deactivating POAPs. This is actually a new upgrade, a new feature for the POAP integration. This it's also in the small little ... menu on the POAP card when you have an active POAP going, and you can just click it and deactivate the POAP. So, for example, if you have an ongoing mint and the event is over, and even though when you ask for POAPs, you have to set a date where it ends, but you want to deactivate it sooner, you can do that on the UI. Very convenient, very cute little feature. And as you guys know, we use POAPs weekly in the guild community. We really, really like it. They're really nice collectibles. And all of you have been very, very supportive with us in the POAPs, which we appreciate. And so I'd like, Hannah, can you share a little experience of how the POAP drop is going, and maybe these two little features, how they can help others too, but just in general about like the POAP management experience with Guild?
Absolutely. First things first, I just want to say that I remember when we were just thinking about creating a feature, developing a feature like this. And actually, it was a little bit because of my experiences, because I was a bit like huffing and puffing about like how inconvenient I felt, uploading like getting other links, uploading them, distributing them one by one, and have just to make sure like it's going to the right group of people who are actually our attendees. And with this new feature that we just have, adding to the already existing ones, I feel like my life, it has been changed. Like it is a game changer, because if you are a community manager or ever contributed to any event operation, and you ever use POAP for that, you know that like how messy it can be, like which POAPs were claimed, which POAPs were not, how to ask for new ones. And by these features, my life is so much easier. Just clicking on the upload more mint links, I can see that like how many is already added, how much I'm gonna add to this, how many is claimed. It's like chef kiss. And about the other one, the activation is really, really useful also, because as Reka just said, the pros with this, I just want to, highlight, things can happen when you are just distributing a POAP and then maybe you realize something went off, or you want to deactivate for, a specific reason. By clicking one button without, going to another site, changing the end date, just to make sure all is set, it can be messy. So with this, it's so much easier. And I know that, for example, we already had a guild who was using it, the deactivation, feature. So I can just highly recommend it to everyone who just want, a smooth badge distribution for themselves.
Thanks for sharing that. I love how, well, we're also part of the reason why we developed is we need it. Like we are managing quite a big community and work with a lot of you and talk with a lot of you about how you're doing it. So these are all little necessary tweaks that make our lives a little bit better. Moving on to next little update is it's a small front end addition is we received a lot of concern and question. We have the automatic syncing feature, which just means that it takes more time with the like member amount that we have in the guild ecosystem and how the systems build up to check access for non-on-chain roles and requirements. So we put out this little syncing bar at the bottom for guild admins to see. And it's been a little bit confusing, I think, and we received a few questions and concerns about it. So we put like one sentence of description on it, which just means that this might take hours, sometimes a day, to check everyone. If there's like 100,000 members of your guild, it's going to take a little bit to check everyone's access, especially if it's off-chain requirements involved as well, because on-chain works so much faster. It's crazy. So that's a little something. Another tiny little UI update is that many questions, we know we can measure these questions because they came through the help center on our UI. So we have like numbers and we know what the biggest problem is and what most people run into. So the next one of those, we had a little bit of a thing where when you are doing, when there's a modal, so like a pop-up little smaller setting screen on your page, there was a bug where you couldn't close it until the transaction. Well, you could close it before the transaction finished. So like this was a pop-up where you did transactions and you could close it before it finished. And then, there was a little bit of an issue with that. So now we added, so you won't just, anyway, so there's not going to be an issue with closing while paying. That's the only thing. And we also have a little message to tell you that. So that's the upgrade.
It's not going to let you. So the TLDR is like, if you are not finished yet, you will have no choice. You got to wait because you will not be able to, just close that pop-up. So we're going to avoid that.
Yes, thank you. And then a new little something that's pretty big, and we've been working on it for months, which sounds kind of crazy, but it's been like a side project, it's called the Guildverse. I don't know, many of you have been playing around and clicking everything on the Guild front end, and if you've seen it or not. But when you click the menu on Guild, there's something called Guildverse now. And if you open that, it's essentially a big directory of all the integrations that we have. These are all the integrations that are live. And we're continually adding some. So if you are looking to find something like a new requirement type or a new reward type, or you want to get more information on one of them, we made it much easier to find that information. So let's say you saw our little post shouting out one of the guilds that uses Gitcoin Passport for verification. So now you can just come onto the Guildverse and read a little bit about what's it doing, get all the necessary links to that project. Those are verified links, and also get some inspiration of how others are using it. We are going to add the example guilds of where these integrations are active and live, so you can see and maybe get inspired by their strategies. Right now, it's more just like the generic information about these projects and what they can do for you. But that's been a little cute side project, and it's going to be, I think, very, very helpful. Let us know if you have any feedback on it. This is the first version that it's been out. So if you have anything else that you think would be beneficial to add there, or I don't know. Yeah, if you have any feedback, just let us know. Moving on to more press stuff, still on the product side, but more like communications, is LivePeer. I don't know how many of you know, but it's a protocol, an infrastructure that a lot of other projects use, like Lens, for example. they essentially host videos, so in a decentralized way. And they were so kind and graceful and aligned with our mission that they do have all the available token gating structures to gate video uploads and streams integrated. So this can allow builders to determine and users of these platforms that use LivePeer is processing infrastructure to determine who can access a video based on these requirements and what's in their wallet. And how Guild comes in. So wow, wait. So first, this is crazy. So anyone who builds any video streaming user interface or application and uses it can gate it with Guild. Mind blowing. Composability. So Guild is different here than all the other projects that are integrated here for token gating is that you know all the requirements that we have. So other projects might only have gating accessible based on what's in your wallet. We also have all the off-chain features as well. And if you're part of other communities, if you're in other guilds, if you have a Discord account that's older than 3 years, if you've been part of this community for more than 6 months, we can also do stuff like that. So it's a little bit more layered. So if any of you are builders, this is amazing news. We're looking forward to more integrations like these. We're very, very happy with working with the team there. We're also going to do a little integration on our side. So stay tuned for that. It's probably later in the roadmap, but still. And then 2 very happy announcements and participation, like good validation of our work is we did receive a retroactive, we did get the chance to participate in Optimism's retroactive funding project. So we received, since we integrated our Optimism as a chain, as a requirement dot, like end of sentence, period. And we also integrated their attestation service. And we've been helping them with community and so on and so forth. We've been able to participate in this. And yeah, it's just been wonderful. And we're very happy that they chose us as a project that can be in this advancement. So happy about that. And then the other like press release like this is that Alchemy had a community choice award where they picked, like the community voted on and picked the top 30 best Web3 projects. And we're in those 30, which is crazy. There's so many Web3 projects out there. And we are very honored to be alongside of projects like Uniswap, Aave, Binance itself. And there's little guilds. So, that's it just warms our heart to be participating with giants like these. It's wonderful. We are doing something meaningful and it's lovely to be recognized for it. And especially on the community voting, if it's, the more people the more people vote, the more true it is. So it just, it just feels very good. So it's good validation. Let's be happy. Let's be happy about it. All of you participated in this. So cheers to all of you. And then we'll get into something a little bit more serious after this celebration. It's about the feature that we talked about with you before, the payment as the requirement, which we had the wait list for, we still have, and we very, very slowly enabled it in a few guilds that have valid use cases for it. And I'll give the word to Hannah to talk a little bit about the first guild that's doing this, one of our power users.
Yes, actually, in the meantime, while you were talking, I just asked actually Fractal Vision to hop on stage and share, more details about his use case and what, they are using this feature for. So I would like to give the stage to Fractal Vision. Speaking of our power user, he's actually the very first one who just integrated the payment alpha into his community structure. So could you just share, more details about like what you're using it for, where, the funds are going for?
Yes. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Hannah, thanks for having me up on stage.
Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, so we needed the solution for crypto payment system as an alternative to what we already have set up through like Discord's regular service on the Me6 bot, which is only allowing like a fiat payment system for memberships. So Guild came into play as our kind of problem solver for people to pay the membership in crypto, and we have it set up for I think at least 5 different currencies, including stable coins right now. And these are like one-time payments because I think we might be getting some reoccurring payment options through the system eventually. So that's our goal and kind of what we've been using the system for, and the funds all go towards the moderation of the Discord. And we're about to release the applications for our international moderators that we're hiring on to start with. And this is our first wave of moderators. We've had Guild installed on our Discord for almost a year, I think, coming up in June, or yeah, maybe June is when we discovered and kind of used it originally for collecting mint lists through the exporting of members on the guild, and that's been a really great service as well. So yeah, it's been a really great tool for us to token gate our community, and we've just been building and building and building on top of the original guild installation, and we have a sub server, which is a separate guild, and it's totally autonomous. And between the two that we run, there's over 100 or 120 roles. So sometimes it gets pretty overloaded as well. And we're just pushing the limits with Guild. It's really fun to use, and the Guild verse, I'm so mind blown. This is so cool. Thank you.
We're really curious to see like, the future of your guild, because I actually see a lot of potential in your, way of utilizing it for getting the funds to, just cover the hiring of the international moderators, because I know that like as a community builder, it is actually a big step to just get, more or even start getting international moderators into the team. So it is actually a big step. So big congrats on that one. And thanks again for hopping on stage and sharing the details with us. You are actually an OG guild builder.
So
Yeah,
much.
you are.
Talk to you again.
Thank you
We
so
sure
much.
will. Thanks so much for hopping on. Amazing. How involved is this community call, guys? Are you impressed? This was absolutely not planned, and I'm so happy it happened. How cool is that? Anyway, um, after that little success story, we're super happy and we want to have so many more of these, and hopefully we can support many of you on this journey. It's never easy, but we're in this together, and we've done some things before, so hopefully we can be a good tool and advisory place for that. And that being said, we'll move over to the community updates, and I'll start with a little bit of explanation because there has been quite some changes made in the past 2 weeks, and I want to give an explanation why. It feels like every other community event I'm like saying, oh, we're restructuring, we're changing the rules. That's because every few months the whole space changes, and the attitude of people and the type of people that participate and are active changes. And right now, I don't know, probably many of you experience this, but with all the airdrops happening, it being a bear market, a little bit more silent, and people started either building or touching grass outside, this space kind of turned into be very active around hype structures and farming. farming everything. It's not just tokens anymore. It's roles, it's participation, it's reputation, it's everything. And it's been kind of overwhelming to keep pace with that. And like I said a few sentences ago, we want to make sure to stay here as a stable source for builders who are focused on their communities and are building projects that help people interact better with on the internet with each other using blockchain technology or something around those lines. But people who are here because they want to change something or they want to achieve something other than getting a role. And our community, like many, I did quite a lot of research like 6 months ago into others communities, and it's the same everywhere, that it's many, many people and it's very diluted and diverted from the original purpose of servers and groups. It happened with us. Luckily, it came to us pretty late, only the last like 2-3 months. We're very happy about it. Obviously, community is pretty big focus for us team wise and generally, and that's our bread and butter. And that's what we really appreciate and make us passionate and want to work with this more. So having said that, we really want to take the less is more approach. And you know us, most of you, like Fractal Vision, you have been here for quite a while. We've been super open, transparent about how you can get involved in the community, giving out POAPs for thousands of people some who didn't even come to the call. We've been a little bit too open. And now with all this change that's happening in the space around us and the nature of communications going, we have to adapt and we have to change. So we also are a growing project as well, with more and more people to answer to. We have to be a little stricter because the purpose of the server specifically and what we would like to cultivate, the type of community that we'd like to cultivate is like a space for like-minded individuals, like I said, who are building and want to achieve something together and want to help each other a little bit, or just like share knowledge or ask advice, and grow together. So we cannot achieve that if we stay the same way. So for that, we decided that we are going to do less is more and be much, much stricter with who we let engage in the server and participate in discussions rather. We like to keep these calls fairly open because why not? Like there's no harm. These wonderful, like at least if people are interested to join the community, know more about the product, these are wonderful to get to know that, get the feeling of the vibe. But otherwise, we'd like to keep conversations focused around people who either have guilds or they are on the journey to create guilds. So you either do that or have some form of like Web3 citizenship proof that you've been around, that you didn't just register today, because we really want to make sure that we like share the same value system and like language, not just in the sense of like this is an English speaking server, but in the sense that we know what Web3 is, we know what tokens mean and the meaning behind those tokens, so we can better help each other. So the strategy that we're taking now is a little bit less channels and much more strict access, which funny enough, we did have some like authentication issues. So in the last few months, people got bored in roles who didn't actually have guilds. And then that role got taken away once we fixed the issue. So there's been a little bit of juice like that. But other than that, we are being a little bit more exclusive with the roles. And we also shipped something I think we talked about last time, the visibility attributes. So roles can be hidden or secret. So we're switching our strategy to have mostly hidden roles in our server, with the purpose of being more exclusive and focused about discussions and kind of trying to secure, even if it's way less people, but trying to secure relationships and discussions that are actually valuable and we can help each other with them at the price of being less transparent and being less open, which I don't like that move. And I know that we've been the opposite so far, but we have to make this change to to keep our values up, because we can't just become this big satisfactory system for farming. That's very exhausting, and we're too small for that, I think. So we have to stabilize now. Before we grew too much, we have to stabilize. So moving forward, most roles are going to be hidden to combat this change. And many of you will stay in, as we use also guild roles as requirement that already existed, time in the server, and so on. The requirements most of the time won't be revealed. So we're still tweaking, trying to find the best way to do it. We also are implementing a lot of roles that are mostly for labeling, so we can know who's in the server, what you guys are interested in, what guild is supposed to be really good at. Just have a ton of insight about how we can best help you, how we can best offer events and workshops, and like how can we provide the most value for you. So that's necessary for us to do. Those won't correspond to roles per se, so you won't like see different things. Those are strictly for like community management, so we can have different categories and yeah, just like no micro target questions or opportunities and everything. Wardens will also get stricter, because when the requirements were open, a lot of people took that opportunity to just create guilds for the sake of having this role given to them. So we're increasing the amount of guild members that you have to have for staying a warden. Yeah. And then one more thing on the strictness, and then I'll move on to like nicer things, is that the support, we had to make the hard decision, and we had announcements about this. But if you didn't know, and we also talked about this in the call just recently, official support won't be in the server anymore. The ticket system doesn't work. You don't have any insight. It's crazy. It's tedious. The help center on our website works so much better. And I know it's something to get used to, but the server won't be a support system. Of course, we can like help each other out with like strategy decisions and everything, but yeah, we won't have support in the general chat or anywhere else. Like that's not the focus of the server. Boom. I was being strict. Now on to a little bit happier things.
Yeah,
one,
bomb dropped. Yeah, I just said like bomb dropped.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move forward.
Yeah, and I know it's been, yeah, I've said this to the guys here too, that I know it feels like, even to me, the server right now feels a little bit like Hunger Games. I don't know if you know that series, but it's like, ooh, will they change the rules now? Will I lose my role? Like, did anything change? Am I still gonna see these chats? And I know that's a lot of instability, but please bear with us while we figure out a good system. We're trying to do the best for goals that we have. And I know so many of you are aligned on this mission and what we want to achieve. So we want to do the best by you. And that will require a little bit more patience with us, please, while we figure out a good role system. We're working on us daily. So yeah, the mic has been dropped. I'm venturing into happier seas, changing up the rhythm. So good news after this is that this week we launched the Reddit. Whoa. Many of you probably are familiar with Reddit, the forum-based website. We realized not a lot of Web3 projects have Reddits, and it's such an amazing resource. Things live there forever. The community gets to curate and input content about anything, and there's like no lying about it, because if the community thinks you suck because you did that, that's going to be there forever. And it's so nice. Like, it's cool. We want to experiment with this. We love the aspect of like, even if we put out like a post there, what is something you'd like to see more of? It's so much more interactive and open. And yeah, so Reddit is super exciting. We'll share mostly the guild logs, which we started this week. It's a weekly like product shipment. So what we do in the community events now, that we just did like half an hour of what we've shipped, kind of like that, but a little bit more detailed, and some improvements and fixes are also in there if you guys are more interested in the details. The first one that we put out is very thick because we put the full first quarter into it. And happy that first few days, I think it's been almost a week now, by the way. The first week, we have 100 members in the Reddit community. Woo! Turns out you have to collect karma for quite a while. So we had a little bit of a struggle with actually launching it. But shout out to Logonaut. He jumped in and helped. He has a bunch of karma and experience with Reddit, and he helped us set up the space. So thank you again with everything always. And yeah, we'd like to encourage you to post. Like Reddit's cool. Right now we have a system since we like a soft launch. We do have to approve the post, but please do. We want to see everything that you have to say, questions about your guilds, shilling your guilds, or anything that's guild related, or new solutions, or you found something that's really cool, or you just, I don't know. Yeah, so find something interesting or frustrating. I don't know. The only thing we won't tolerate is support. And of course, like the proper moderation things that are stated on the subreddit. But that's it. How are we feeling? Also, Twitter's been super annoying. So I'm super happy that we're experimenting with Reddit. It's such a different vibe, very different. Like our Discord has been very cozy. Twitter has changed so much in terms of audience and everything in the past time. And Reddit feels like a new field with a much stricter, less cozy vibe, but still, since it's much more open, I don't know. Like, I feel good about this. So we'll be interested in your feedback and how you like the designs and, the guild logs later. We also want to make, I don't know, we're trying to post 2-3 times there a week. It's going to be fun. Sorry, I just had a sip of tea to make sure that I don't get raspy. Moving on, more community stuff. Is having said the big strictness, we also are experimenting with more involvement because we do think there's a potential, and we want to stay very open to those who actually want to get involved and want to be more than just people who come to some events and have some discussions. So we're starting a Squire program fitting with our castle meme and lore. We're essentially looking for individuals right now to help us grow. Eventually, we want to grow this into our future ambassador program. But for right now, we just want a very general, just interest. It's similar to Knights, but I think, and we think Knights have a much more core space and place in the community. This is a little bit more general than that. Knights are curated manually. They are the knight of the system, the peacekeepers, the eyes and ears. Squire is a little bit more general, but we'd like to just gauge with no strings attached. We'd like to gauge who is somebody who wants to help us grow in any shape or form. We'll experiment, so stay open. But if you're interested, you'll know this is also a hidden role, by the way, because safety and what I've just explained with the strictness and why we do that. So you'll know if you're eligible to the Squire program. I think Squire program is going to be the name of the room that we're going to have in the server. It's going to appear for you starting with, I think, end of this week. I think Friday. So if you see a room like that, you're eligible. And then we'll have a little form just based on, we really just want to know what you're interested in and what we can ask help with or talk to you about and stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to this to do together. One more thing that just launched this week. I know we did so much. It's crazy. It's the Journal Club. So as you may
I just said, oh my God, what a week.
I know. It's crazy. We've been busy. Actually, it's the past 2 weeks, but still, this week has been mega. So, yeah, the Journal Club. the Journal Club, many of you might have seen the announcement. It's essentially aligned with what we want to do here is we want to be a good hub for community managers and people who build with community, for community, around community. And that includes sharing knowledge. And Journal Club has been something we've been fantasizing about. Even like a year ago when Hannah and I have been like redefining what we want the community to feel like and be like. We never had the gauge or like the time to do this, or it was never like a good time. And right now it feels like it's a good time. So this is something that we want to have like a very stable, just 30-minute hangout session. We'll have a weekly article that we curate together with everyone who's in the club. We're going to vote on which one's cool, or we're just going to do, if there's only a few submissions, we're going to do those. But every week we'll have a shared experience of reading the same article that's the best in the space around this. And then we'll have this little session where we discuss. And some of the time, luckily to our network and relationships and everything, we'll have the chance to have the author join us to these discussions as well, which is what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to talk about revenue in this economy. That's the title of the article that we're going to talk about. And the author of that from C Club, Josh Cornelius, is going to join us to talk about it with us. So this is something we're starting. Louis, many of you might have seen him around the server. Sometimes he's called Albiverse. He's very kind and good as a person, and he's helping us with this. He's also a writer and a content person and a great friend for years at this point. He's helping us with like moderating and like guiding this program as well. So if you're interested, we'll have the session tomorrow. It's open for wardens and knights as usual. That's it for this point. Moving on. Hot communities joining Guild XYZ. Growing the Guilds of Guild ecosystem. I'm going to only say two. One that I'm stoked about is Uniswap. So, hello. Congrats, everyone. We made it. One of the most OG exchanges. Everyone and their mother who has a wallet and ever bought anything use Uniswap at least once, I think. How cool that they are users now. We help them manage the community. They have already set up such an elite guild. We're gonna make a post about this on Twitter too, because they need a shout out. It's a very clean guild. You guys have to see it. Maybe we could link here. But essentially they manage based on how much you've traded with a badge system as requirements, and also the Unisocks holders. And I won't reveal all of their strategies, but we're helping them with figuring out further strategies as well. They have so many ideas. So super happy. Uniswap is on Guild. Hello. Crazy. And the second one that's super exciting is Brahma. Hannah, do you want to say a word about that?
I just want to say a few words about like how it was happening. So basically in the back, we were figuring out the ways how we can, help them to, just get their guild up and running smoothly. Basically, they are a DeFi project. And we were really happy yesterday because we just fixed something that was in the way to launch their guild. And eventually they just announced it on Twitter, and now it's finally up and running. So they already have few roles set with different requirements, mainly using our custom contract query requirements, and also having, for example, Discord requirements, having, specific ERC20 tokens. So I can sense some kind of, power user moves in the very beginning. So I will just post their link in the event stage and also in the secret chamber, so you can check out what they're working on.
And I think maybe here's a good point to say. Also, thank you, Hannah, for jumping in there. Maybe here it's a good place to say that how guilds like growth works is we have a lot of inbound coming, and many communities form every day. Some are more serious than others, and we keep an eye out for projects that we know and we want to validate them and then get on board and support them however we can. So our strategy is mostly just helping communities be the best that they can be and giving and continue to develop the tool in a way that's most helpful to achieve their goals. And we're very lucky that a lot of layer ones and layer twos and bridges and exchanges and wallets have been starting to use Guild, which is a very different environment and user base than what we started out with, which was more like DAOs and smaller communities around shared interest. So it's different, and I expect that the features that we're going to develop is going to be more towards like general, like how community management should be done when it's like a multiple 100,000 member guild. So for right now, in the beginning, we're more like focused on small communities and DAOs and contribution management and everything. And now if you have more than 10, 15 roles in your guild, it becomes a little bit chaotic, especially if you have a lot of rewards as well to keep track and manage, and want to make sure that we grow with where the space is growing and where the user's needs are. So we're going to rethink a few things in the user experience that we have, because it was great for, membership management and contribution management or contributor management. But we have to like take a step back, because even with our guild, we only have 7 or 8 roles, I think, and a bunch of like expired ones that are the POAPs. And it's already becoming like kind of crazy to scroll through. So yeah, we're redesigning some stuff, but that's how I wanted to add there. And moving on our last little tiny update, this is more just like a little sparkle at the end of it to wrap up. It's a little cuteness. The community, the guild community, our guild, not the team, not the designers, the community, holy smokes, first of all, that in itself created a sticker pack, a guild themed sticker pack. And it's so cute and it's colorful and it's wonderful inspiration for us to, the guild brand is mostly black and white and gray, with the initial intention to keep the very pixelated and gamey, and it was unique because everything else was purple in the Web3 space. So like being gray and dark and this like cool theme kind of stood out. But it's a great inspiration for us to see how these like pop really like stronger colors can fit with our brand and still keep the same vibe. They're very cute. So thank you so much for doing this. I've been telling our designer to put a little bit more color into our design elements in our like materials that we post on social, and with the POAPs even, and everything that's coming out. So we've been experimenting with that. I'm really pushing to make it a little softer and have a little bit more color in our brand, at least sometimes. So that's also coming, and this is great like foreshadowing for that. Also, peep the little raspberry one. Shout out to me to have that as a profile picture on Twitter. It's the cutest raspberry ever. Anyway, that just made my day when I saw this. So thank you again for making this. That's a wrap for today. That was my last little note that I have. Hannah, you have a little gift for us. And before that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining and sticking out with us. It's half the amount of people that we're usually having, which I'm so happy about, guys. Like, numbers aren't the thing. And I know you care. And, it's just the cozier, the better, in my opinion. So thank you so much for coming and being here and listening, and keep being awesome and using Guild to the best of your abilities, and to hopefully we can help you achieve your goals in the best community dreams ever. So thanks again.